think to get some framework here, there are things that should be kept confidential and in
There's
confidence.
a place for that.
Yes.
That's a good point, yeah.
So to keep something in confidence appropriately does not mean you're not being transparent, right?
Yes.
So sometimes if things are kept appropriately confidential, someone might say that they weren't being transparent. Oh, no, it's a situation where something should be kept confidential.
Welcome, everyone, to podcast number 268, Renew Your Mind. With us today, we have Pastor Jeremy Touroo. We have Pastor Barry Sweet. We have our family and youth director and also praise band leader, Jordan Kettlewell, and myself, Dana Hall, as the moderator. Today, we're going to talk about a new topic, transparency. One of Barry's favorite words again.
Yeah, my second favorite word.
Second favorite after intentional. Not to confuse it, this podcast is on transparency. So I'll throw it out to the group. What exactly does it mean to be transparent? And don't everybody
jump in.
Yeah.
Pastor Barry, it's your second favorite word.
Yeah. It means being clear. The way I approach it is what transparency isn't. I mean, when you're not being transparent, you're kind of working in the shadows. You're working behind the scenes. You're hiding something. Mm-hmm. Transparent is, it's out in the open for everybody to see and experience. There's nothing to hide. Everything's above board kind of approach. Mm-hmm. For me, that's what it means to be transparent.
I think you have to be intentional about being transparent too.
You do.
Because, I think a lot of people don't feel it necessary, I'm going to say, to be transparent, to communicate the things to both maybe differing opposing sides, or it takes a lot of time to be transparent. So,
well, and if sometimes in the midst of business deals and whatever, you don't want to reveal your whole hand kind of perspective. Yeah. So you're not transparent. You're hiding some things. You're kind of holding some things in reserve for later. I'm hearing
maybe a note of deceitfulness connected to your definition.
Not being transparent.
Yeah, I think there can be. And frankly, often, if you're not transparent, what's the opposite? Is you're hiding something.
Mm-hmm.
Whether intentionally or not.
Whether intentionally or not. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think to get some framework here, there are things that should be kept confidential and in
There's
confidence.
A place for that.
Yes.
That's a good point, yeah.
So to keep something in confidence appropriately does not mean you're not being transparent, right?
Yes.
So sometimes if things are kept appropriately confidential, someone might say that they weren't being transparent. Oh, no, it's a situation where something should be kept confidential. Mm-hmm. And on the other side,
way to approach that in a transparent way, though, is that you don't hide the fact that there's a confidential piece to this dynamic or this relationship.
Sure.
They've asked me to keep this in their confidence.
Yes.
And I need to respect that. And that's being transparent about it. When you can't share what it is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're not lying. You're not hiding the fact that there was a conversation there that I can't share with you.
Yeah. And on the other end, we shouldn't seek to be transparent as a license to gossip about something.
Exactly.
And say, so you're holding something in confidence, but I'm going to tell you because I just want to be transparent with you, and then sharing something that you shouldn't. Mm-hmm. But I was being transparent.
Yeah. Have you heard, have you heard people say that? Like that never popped in
They may
my
not
head.
use the transparent word or the...
Yeah.
But usually when gossip is happening or something, especially that's your example, is that we're telling something we shouldn't tell.
Right.
Because usually it's hurtful for somebody else.
Yeah. So I think we just have to be specific and careful with what we mean by transparent.
Because being transparent in our relationship doesn't give us license to hurt somebody else, doesn't give us license to attack somebody else. And you can use that language all you want. The goal of transparency is good, it's positive, it's uplifting. It's meant to build up, not tear down.
Yes. Yeah.
But you're right. There are times in relationships where, in a marriage, even between two people, you don't share some things with the outside world. It's between the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
In a work environment, sometimes there's some confidential things that have to happen in the relationship. If I'm working with someone in a counseling environment, I can't be transparent and share all the details.
Right.
But I can say to them, I'm not at liberty to share that, but you can go talk to so-and-so. And if they want to share that with you, that's their right or not. So there's a level of how you approach it that matters, I think.
It is really quite complicated because
it can be.
You could choose to use the word confidential to not be transparent when it's not appropriate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's deceptive.
Mm-hmm.
And we do
There's
that.
a heart motive here.
Yeah.
We need to get at.
Yeah, I think that is the key is what's going on in your heart.
What's the heart motive?
What's the motivation?
Yes. Are you trying to be deceitful? Are you trying to get your way or gain an upper hand or gain power?
It could be
position?
a power dynamic.
Yeah. And therefore you're withholding things. There's so many things are just always about what's in your heart. And,
I think it almost always goes back to that.
Yeah.
So are we attempting to do good and be good? Or are we attempting to deceive and to further our advantage?
Yes, right.
And that's where, being discerning, but also clear about our intentions, not trying to hide things, but also if you can't share, you can't share, and being honest about that. And again, that honesty comes into play on a lot of different levels. I'm being honest that I have a disagreement with this person that I can't share that with you. And the only time that gets broken is if it's life-threatening, emergency, criminal activity on some level, some of those kinds of things.
Are there any scriptures in the Bible that that give us guidance on transparency?
That came to mind for me was Hebrews 4:13. Nothing in all creation is hidden from the thought from God's sight. Everything is uncovered and laid bare before the eyes of Him to whom we must give an account. Now that's talking about God knows all.
Yeah.
That whole idea is that you can't hide anything from God.
Yeah.
Healthy relationships are more often transparent and open than closed. I think we can learn from that. There are places where we need to do the confidentiality thing, but I think overall, the more open and transparent a relationship is, the healthier it is. I think that's one passage. Ephesians 5:13 I had written down. Let me look it up. What does it say? But everything exposed by the light becomes visible. So it just talks about transparency. And transparency allows for the releasing of truth, the releasing of goodness.
And not hiding something.
Yeah, we're not hiding something. And again, that's better overall in terms of our relationships and our interactions with people and in our work with people. The more open you are, I think the better you are. I think of some staff members that I had along the way. I was head of staff in a couple churches, and, working with a staff member and being transparent with them about, this is an area you're doing really well. This is an area you might want to work on, and how can we work on that together? And working on goals. But nobody else needs to know about that.
Yeah.
Is that's between the two staff people. You're transparent with them, but at the same time, you're protecting some of what's going on, so they have time to adjust and work on things, and others will eventually see it. But that doesn't mean I have to talk about it with everybody and their brother.
Which wouldn't be fruitful.
No.
Or helpful.
No, I think it would damage the relationship.
Yeah.
So that part of trust comes from keeping confidentiality. Part of trust comes from being clear and transparent about what we're trying to accomplish and and the nature of our relationship, and exposing things to the light. There's a lot of light and darkness images in Scripture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's always, God is always on the side of light.
Yeah.
God is light.
Right from Genesis 1.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jesus is the light of the world. We're called to be the light of the world.
Yeah.
That usually engenders an open policy,
Yeah.
as far as you can go that way.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I'm even thinking as Christians, being transparent about our faith
Mm-hmm.
in an evangelistic or witnessing sort of way. I'm thinking about
Right.
the light. You don't hide the light under the
Bushel.
cover, the bushel. There you go. Thank you. We let the light shine so that others can benefit.
We be genuine and authentic about who we are,
Yeah.
and that shines through.
Yep.
And again, being intentional about sharing our faith and how that impacts our life, not in a judgmental way or condemning way as I've got the answer and you don't kind of perspective, but
Mhm.
I want to share this with you because it makes such a huge difference in my life.
Mhm.
And I want you to have that too. So being transparent about that. A lot of Christians struggle with sharing their faith. And it's a private thing. And
Yeah.
I get that. But at some point or another, if you're going to share who you are, you have to share the reality of your faith because that's
Yeah.
part of who you are.
Yeah. That's right.
So transparency is about
Yeah.
sharing, I think, on some levels too, and
Yes.
being genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Clear, sharing,
Mm-hmm.
genuine. What are some other in your personal lives where has transparency made a difference for the good, I guess? Like
Well-
specific situations.
Well, I'm not sure it's a specific situation, but one of my goals in ministry has always been to be real with people.
Mm-hmm.
And a podcast or two ago, we used the word pissed, which a pastor usually doesn't say from the pulpit or whatever. And I don't think you have to
We
go there.
expect it from you.
Yes. I think it's in the King James Version somewhere.
But part of being real with people is not sugarcoating for me,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and being transparent about
Yeah.
this is a real issue at a real time. At the Blue Christmas service that we did, I talked about the reality of the journey of Mary and Joseph and how difficult that was in terms of their interaction with their families and how it created fractures in their family.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't usually look at the Christmas story that way,
Yeah.
but attempting to be real and transparent about how did this impact real people? How does it impact you as a real person and me as a real person? And how do we address it realistically in real life, not just up here in theological land,
Mm-hmm.
which is important to be there, but you got to take that and make it practical. And that's part of being transparent for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you do that. I mean, that's what makes you connect with so many people. I can
I
understand
try.
because you are real about things. But I cut Jeremy off.
Oh,
Sorry.
no, not at all. I'm, thinking about relationships and take marriage, for example, to be transparent with your husband or wife about how you're feeling, or if you have a care or concern, if you've been hurt by something, is healthy and keeps your relationship strong.
It's not easy.
Rather than, not that, I don't know any wife that would ever say this, but everything's fine.
Run.
What's wrong? Nothing. Which
that goes
doesn't.
with a husband too.
Yes, it
though.
does. It does. Yes, which doesn't usually last. You end up talking about it, but that's a kind of a basic example of if you're keeping something in from your spouse, you're not being transparent.
Yeah.
For some reason you want to hold on to anger or whatever it is. But to be transparent, it's kind of like airing it out to the light,
Yeah.
and then there's healing in the light.
Yeah, and that process can be
there's-
challenging and difficult.
Sure.
And it's hurtful at times. But at the end of that, hopefully you're in a healthier place, a more open place, and you can grow together.
Yeah.
And your relationship's stronger. But you have to nurture that kind of interaction
Yeah.
Yeah.
in right from the beginning. Now,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
start later on. It's harder, but you can do it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't want to add to your spouse's burdens. So
True.
I'm coming from the.
Oh no,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, there's
and I
different
think that's-
reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that it's okay to not be transparent, but yeah.
You don't want to hide things or be
Yeah.
deceptive in
Yeah.
any relationship, and much
And there may
less
be
a
a time
marriage.
and a place.
Yeah, and
timing
I
is
was
always
just coming.
important.
The
Yeah.
timing.
Yeah,
is
timing's important.
Yeah.
If they're stressed and carrying lots of burdens, you might not want to add that
Right.
one thing on right now.
Right.
But yeah.
And we've all made that mistake.
Yeah.
The
I think-
wrong thing said at the wrong
wrong
time.
time.
You
And
know?
this doesn't
Or
apply to
maybe
husbands
the
and
right
wives.
thing
Yes,
said at the wrong
exactly.
time.
Yeah.
The right thing said at the wrong time is that timing does matter. There's no
Timing
question.
does matter. Yeah.
So my example in that would be it's kind of along the same lines as what Jeremy was saying, but in conflict resolution and the really difficult stuff,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and these are kind of in the same category for me, conflict resolution, but also if I'm training somebody
Mhm.
in something, like in law enforcement, I used to train defensive tactics. As I teach people self-defense, hand-to-hand combat. I've taught guitar and drums, and I enjoy teaching.
Mhm.
And my approach to that is always very transparent.
Yeah.
And it's the same with conflict resolution, which is all cards on the table. It's just it's matter of fact without criticism and condemnation. It's matter of fact of, okay, so here's the facts. These are the facts at hand. This is what we're dealing with. Let's work together to find a way through. So if you're
Mhm.
training somebody, okay, so you need some work in this area, but which sounds really obvious. It really does, but let's face it, most people have a hard time with that. It's uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's uncomfortable and it's nerve-wracking. So we go in sugarcoating, we go in masking the hard thing behind something else. When in my experience in my life, just putting the difficult thing out there so that everybody involved can see it, and then we walk through it together, sometimes is the most jarring at first, but has the healthiest outcome. Because you could have a 3-hour conversation with somebody trying to resolve an issue and never actually even discuss the issue, much less
Yeah.
resolve it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or you can have a 20-minute
Yeah.
conversation with somebody and talk about the issue
At
and
hand.
resolve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But
true.
the way that you frame that up is that you put I don't want to say facts, but you put the facts on the table. It's not you did this or I did that. It's just more factual, so it can be discussed.
Yeah.
But I do think that because it is a difficult, we get scared, we get afraid, we don't want to hurt somebody, we don't want the conflict in front of us, then we just kind of stay away from it.
And we bury it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we bury it.
Yeah.
And it finds a way back to the surface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Always.
All things
Yeah.
will come to light
Yes.
Yep.
eventually.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Any other things we should touch on? Okay. We'll wrap that up. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. We come to you from the Gaylord Methodist Church. We have a 9 a.m. and a 10:45 service on Sunday. 9 a.m. is traditional. 10:45 is contemporary. We'd love to have you join us in person. If you can't, though, you can view us on YouTube or Facebook. If you have any questions, we're located at 215 South Center Street in Gaylord, Michigan. If you have any questions, you can check out our website or you can call the office at 989-732-5380. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.